In today's video, I'll show you what I love about Quantum of the Seas, my favorite cruise ship in the Royal Caribbean fleet. From the relaxing, indoor, adults-only retreat known as the Solarium, to the many fun activities they offer without any additional charge, this ship has something for all ages. The cabin design is absolutely brilliant, the casual dining options were surprisingly good, and best of all, for once, the price was right. Stick around to learn all about one of my favorite cruise ships. Hello there, I'm Jim Zim. I love going on cruises. My cruise on Quantum of the Seas was my 72nd cruise since I started cruising 30 years ago, and it was my 10th with Royal Caribbean. After that many cruises, I definitely know a good cruise ship when I sail on one. This ship, Quantum of the Seas, stands out to me as being much better than a lot of the other cruise ships I've been on. So let's dive into exactly what I love about it. At the very top of the list is the Solarium. This is a quiet, relaxing, climate-controlled, adults-only area of the ship with a unique set of warm water pools you can relax in as the water slowly cascades down through several different pools that work their way down from the top level of the Solarium to the bottom. The Solarium also has 2 big hot tubs and its own bar, plus a small buffet restaurant right next door. Because the Solarium is entirely enclosed in glass, it makes no difference what the weather outside is doing. You'll find it nice and warm and relaxing under the glass dome of the Solarium. And because this ship spends the summer months in Alaska, having a warm indoor place like this, protected by a warm glass cocoon, yet you never miss any of the views outside, it's just absolutely perfect. Now, our cruise was not in Alaska. We were visiting Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, and they sometimes have rainy days there and days that are just way too hot. So the Solarium is great for a destination like Cabo, too. There's a little doorway that leads out of the Solarium onto an outside viewing deck, perfect for shooting photos without shooting through glass. Now, to keep it a quiet, relaxing place, the Solarium is only for people 16 years old or older. But kids love an indoor pool too when the weather outside is less than perfect, so they're welcome to use this second, fully enclosed area featuring 2 hot tubs and a swimming pool that's deeper than the cascading pools of the Solarium, making it great for swimming laps. There's also a full bar and lots of loungers and chairs to relax on. Chair hogs are a real problem on some cruise ships, but these signs on Quantum of the Seas actually seem to work. They put them on about 1 out of every 5 loungers, and in this shot I took at about 9 a.m. on a sea day. No one had tried to hog any of these loungers by leaving a towel or a beach bag. This is one of my absolute favorite spots on Quantum-class ships. It's a lounge called 270, named for the incredible 270-degree panoramic views you get through the massive floor-to-ceiling windows. During the day, it's a perfect multi-purpose space. They host morning yoga classes here, as well as various presentations, and it's also just a nice, quiet place to sit and enjoy the views of the ship's wake. But wait until the sun goes down, because this place completely transforms. It becomes the most high-tech theater I've ever set foot in. The giant windows get covered by massive screens, turning the entire back of the room into a wall that they can project scenes, backdrops, or videos on. They also have a series of video monitors that are mounted on robotic arms, so that the video monitors can move in sync with the show. Between the visuals, the lighting, and the sound system, the creativity here is just off the charts. It really impressed me. However, I do have to share a very serious word of caution. If you're sensitive to strobe lights, bright flashes, or if you have a history of seizures, you really need to skip the performances here in 270. The lights are intense. They often point directly at the audience, and they pulse rapidly with the music. I actually got really mad with Royal Caribbean while watching the show because of a completely ineffective pre-show announcement that they made. They announced that there might be flashing lights in the show. That was nowhere near a strong enough warning. I happen to know that the performance actually caused at least one audience member to have a seizure. Why introduce any doubt in the announcement by using the words might be? Very bad choice of words, Royal Caribbean. So if you're prone to light-triggered headaches or seizures, please take my word for it. Skip the evening shows at 2:70. If you're traveling with young, energetic family members or just like to stay active yourself, Quantum of the Seas will not disappoint. There are a lot of free, fun activities to be enjoyed. Ground zero for the free fun is here in what's known as the SeaPlex. This is a massive indoor space that changes throughout the day. My personal favorite is when they set it up for bumper cars. That is a lot of fun. And you don't expect something like that on a cruise ship. But SeaPlex can also be set up for basketball, roller skating, laser tag, or even pickleball. They also have ping pong, air hockey, and other table games, as well as a dedicated video gaming area upstairs with Xbox consoles. For families with kids who have energy to burn, SeaPlex is a total lifesaver, and most of the activities in SeaPlex come at no additional charge. Outside, there's also a rock climbing wall that kids seem to love. Guests as young as 6 years old can harness up for this vertical adventure up a 40-foot wall of fun. There's a running track that winds all the way around what they call the sports deck. That's deck 15 of the ship. You don't have to run, you can walk it. Just stay to the right if you're not running. One lap all the way around the ship is roughly 1/3 of a mile. The Flowrider surfing simulator looks like an awful lot of fun. I'm not a surfer, so I've never done it, but I always enjoy watching other people having fun on the Flowrider, especially when they eventually crash. And we certainly shouldn't overlook the most classic of all cruise ship family activities, letting the kids play in the main outdoor pool on a sunny day off the coast of Mexico, while mom and dad enjoy poolside margaritas. So all of these activities I just listed, except for the margaritas, are complimentary. There's no extra charge to participate. For some of the activities, you do have to sign up for a time slot, but that's easy to do on the Royal Caribbean app. Now, there is an extra fee for this one. This is Ripcord, a skydiving simulator. Again, something this 68-year-old doesn't ever need to actually do himself, but I do enjoy watching other people flying on Ripcord. I have to really salute whoever designed the cabins on Quantum of the Seas. Honestly, other cruise lines should be taking notes. Royal Caribbean made some incredibly smart choices here. Take the closets, for example. These are the closets on some other cruise line. They've put the closets side by side. That's a bad idea because when you and your cabin mate are both getting dressed at the same time, you're constantly bumping elbows and getting in each other's way. But on Quantum, they put a large sofa between the two closets to space them out. Simple, right? It gives both people their own zone to get ready in without getting in each other's way. And the smart design choices don't stop there. The bathrooms have an automatic nightlight that kicks in when the main lights are off, so no more blinding yourself during a 2 a.m. bathroom break. Even the towels are better. They've added fabric loops to the bath towels so they actually stay on the hooks instead of sliding off onto the floor every time you open or close the door. It's little details like that that make a big difference in the cruising experience. On the negative side, though, Quantum of the Seas was built back in 2014, so there are a few things about the cabins that are not quite up to the standards of today's newest cruise ships. For example, there are USB charging ports, but they're the old, slow USB-A type, not USB-C like we tend to use today. And while they did place an electrical outlet on one side of the bed, the best cruise ships have them on both sides of the bed these days, and USB charging ports too. We were in cabin number 12662, and I chose this particular cabin because it has an unusually large balcony. Look at the size of that! That is way bigger than most cruise ship balconies. A nice surprise I didn't expect was how well the balcony was protected from the sun by this overhang from one of the upper decks. That kept the sun out of our eyes most of the time while we were out enjoying the views from our balcony. On a sea day in the Mexican Riviera, always keep an eye out for wildlife in the water. Check out this huge pod of dolphins that we were able to see from our balcony. It was an amazing sight. The sunrises and sunsets from our balcony were pretty great too. My wife likes a hot cup of tea first thing in the morning after waking up, so she was over the moon to find that our cabin came with an electric kettle she could plug in at the desk to heat up hot water to make tea with. Something I like to bring with me on a cruise is a battery-powered digital clock. Another is a wireless digital thermometer to tell me both the indoor and outdoor temperatures. I use a 3M command strip to attach the wireless temperature sensor to a shady spot on the balcony to give me accurate outdoor temperatures. We were cruising with our friends Jeff and Michelle, and having a balcony isn't important to them. They save money by booking an ocean view cabin instead of a balcony cabin. So they had a window with a view of what was outside rather than a balcony that they could step out onto. But other than that, our two cabins were very similar, but theirs was more affordable. Now, I'm not one of those foodies. I don't like fancy gourmet food. The casual food options on Quantum of the Seas suited me well. My wife and I ate almost all of our meals at the ship's buffet restaurant, the Windjammer. The thing we like about it the most is the huge number of choices it gives us. Plus, we get to control the portion size. And it takes more like 20 minutes to have a meal rather than the 2 hours it sometimes takes in a cruise ship's main dining room. There was one thing I did find odd about the food they offered in the buffet, though. The ship was sailing out of Los Angeles, California, and I don't think Royal Caribbean really understands Southern California's favorite foods. Why didn't they have a dedicated Mexican food station in the buffet at every meal? Or at least just offer a taco bar every now and then. The best thing I ate on this cruise was not from the buffet. It was this plate of Memphis barbecue pulled pork nachos from the ship's pub. They were so good, I came back on a second day for more. You're not going to believe this, but they only cost $4. I also really loved that they offer free soft serve ice cream out by the main pool, and that there was this popcorn cart that popped in at various locations from time to time. We also had a real nice lunch one day at the steakhouse, Chop's Grill. I had a very enjoyable filet as my entree and the warm chocolate cake for dessert. Our cruise on Quantum of the Seas was certainly priced right. Of the last 5 mega cruise ships we've sailed on, this was by far the least expensive. In fact, it was probably less than the last 10 or 20. Royal Caribbean is known for commanding high prices on their newest ships. In 2024, their brand new ship was Icon of the Seas, and the prices they were getting for that ship were outrageous. Not just the base price of the cruise, but when Icon visited Coco Cay, their private island in the Bahamas, the prices for everything from water park tickets to cabana rentals suddenly went sky high. And then, oh my, back down to normal the next day when some older ship visited the island. I would have loved to have rented this cabana the day we visited Coco Cay on Icon of the Seas, but it sat empty the entire day because Royal Caribbean jacked up the price too high. It truly offended me. But Quantum of the Seas isn't one of their new ships. It's 11 years old, so the laws of supply and demand are actually in your favor with this ship. If you're interested in booking a cruise, either on Quantum of the Seas or any other cruise ship from any cruise line, I want to recommend that you use a travel agent rather than booking directly with the cruise line. A travel agent can answer all your questions for you and help ensure that you don't make any rookie mistakes with your booking. Ambren Travel is the travel agency that I use and recommend. Caitlin Gallagher is the owner. Jill and Stacy are also extremely well qualified. If you book a 7-night or longer cruise in a balcony cabin or better, they'll even print your luggage tags for you, provide you with luggage tag holders, lanyards for your key cards, and an Ambren Travel drawstring bag. Give Caitlin a call or send her an email or just visit their website at www.ambrentravel.com. This is another unusual feature that you'll find on Quantum of the Seas. It's called NorthStar. Basically, it's an aerial viewing platform. At the end of a big, long robotic arm is essentially a pod with glass windows all around, and the robotic arm lifts that viewing pod up into the air and then can move it around from side to side to provide views in all directions. Being up there at the end of that robotic arm high above the ship, you get some much nicer views than you can get just standing out on one of the ship's decks. It's a feature that you won't find on any other type of cruise ship except for Royal Caribbean's 5 Quantum-class ships: Quantum of the Seas, Anthem of the Seas, Ovation of the Seas, Spectrum of the Seas, and Odyssey of the Seas. I hope I've given you a very good look at what's so special about Quantum of the Seas. It really is one of my favorite cruise ships after doing 72 cruises over the last 30 years. I've tried to focus this video on the ship itself, but in my next video, I'm going to talk more about the things we did, both on and off the ship, during our cruise out of Los Angeles down to Cabo San Lucas and back. We packed a lot of fun into a budget-priced 5-day cruise. Among other things, the next video will explain why I will always refer to this cruise as the karaoke cruise. I'll also recommend a pretty darn good restaurant you can walk to in Cabo San Lucas. And I'll give you a look at one of the most famous bars in Cabo, too. Plus, I'll show you the oddly fascinating thing I caught on camera the day our ship visited Ensenada. If you subscribe to my channel, YouTube will recommend that next video to you as soon as I release it, which should be about a week or two after this one was released. I'm Jim Zim. Thanks for watching.